You're grinding through your inbox at 7 in the morning. Coffee's cold, eyes burn. You've got a to-do list that feels like it grew legs and ran ahead of you. And the voice in your head says push harder, go faster, force it through. But what if that voice is wrong? What if the hardest thing you'll ever learn is how to stop pushing? There's an old idea, born in ancient China, that says the most powerful force in nature isn't strength, it's flow. And it has a name, the Tao. But before we get there, let's stay with that feeling, that grind, that sense that if you just squeeze tighter, things will work out. Because most of us live there. We white-knuckle our way through the day. We treat rest like a crime. We force habits that don't stick. We bully our own minds into focus. And what happens? The harder we push, the more the wall pushes back. You've felt it. That strange loop where effort creates more friction, not less. Where the thing you chase keeps slipping further away the faster you run. Here's what's wild. Your body knows this. When you force yourself through a task your whole being resists, stress chemicals flood your system. Within minutes of grinding against your own grain, your error rate jumps. You make worse choices. You see fewer options. The brute force approach doesn't just feel bad. It performs bad. So if forcing doesn't work, what does? Picture a river, not a raging flood. A calm, steady river meeting a boulder. The water doesn't slam into the rock and try to shove it aside. It wraps around it. It finds the gap. It keeps moving. And given enough time, something strange happens. The soft thing reshapes the hard thing. The water carves stone, not in a day, not in a year, but it does. That image holds the entire heart of what we're about to explore. Now the word Tao started as something simple. Thousands of years ago, someone scratched a symbol onto a bone. It meant a path, a road, a physical trail between fields. Nothing grand, nothing cosmic, just dirt under your feet. But over the centuries that followed, something shifted. People stopped using that word for just roads. They started using it for something they couldn't see, an unseen current behind all motion. The way seasons turn, the way rivers know where to go, the way seeds crack open at the right moment. Not a god, not a person, not a plan anyone designed. More like the grain of the wood, the pull of the tide, the drift that carries things where they're meant to go if nothing blocks them. And that shift in meaning matters, because it tells us something about how these ancient thinkers saw the world. They looked at nature and saw a pattern. Things that force their way through tend to break. Things that line up with the current tend to last. A tree that bends in the wind survives the storm. A tree that stands rigid snaps. So then the question becomes hands-on. If there's a current running through everything, how do you ride it? This is where we meet the strangest idea in the whole system, Wu Wei. It translates roughly as non-doing. And the moment you hear that, your brain probably says the same thing almost everyone says. So do nothing? Just sit there? That's the easy answer. And it's dead wrong. Think of a surfer. A surfer is not doing nothing. A surfer has spent years reading waves, feeling timing, building balance. And when the right wave comes, the surfer doesn't fight it, doesn't force the ocean into a shape. The surfer joins the wave's power and rides it. That tiny shift, that lean, that change in weight, it looks effortless. But it's the product of deep skill meeting the right moment. That's Wu Wei, not laziness, not giving up. It's action stripped of waste. Movement with zero fight against the current. The old text that holds most of these ideas doesn't just apply to personal life. It talks about rulers, leaders, whole societies. The idea is that when a ruler governs with a light hand, when they stop trying to control every outcome, the system finds its own balance. It breathes. People thrive not because they were commanded to, but because the pressure was removed. Modern psychology stumbled onto something that looks a lot like this. Researchers found a state where people lose track of time, where the work feels almost automatic, where skill and challenge match so well that effort vanishes. You've probably felt it. Playing music, writing, running, cooking, that zone where hours feel like minutes. Brain scans during those moments show something striking. The part of your brain that monitors and judges and second guesses actually quiets down. And when it dims, you perform better, not worse. But here's where it gets tricky. And this is the part most people skip. Wu Wei is not a magic trick. It's not a license to coast. There are times when you need to push. When a crisis hits, when the building is on fire, you don't stand there waiting for the current. You act. Hard. Fast. But even then, the best responders read the wind. They feel the direction of the heat. They don't just pour water at random. They line up their force with the fire's behavior. So even decisive action works better when it rides the current instead of fighting it. Wu Wei isn't about whether to act. It's about how and when. Now let's go deeper. Inside this system, there's a symbol that doesn't get enough attention. It's called Pu. The best way to picture it is a block of wood that has never been carved. No chisel has touched it. No blade has shaped it. It's raw, full of every shape it could become. The moment you start carving, you gain a form, but you lose all the other forms it could have been. And that loss matters. Think about a child before the world tells them what to be. Before the labels, before the grades, before the job title. There's a wild range of who they might become. That's Pu. Raw potential. The Taoist warning isn't that you should never shape yourself. It's that you should be careful about how much you let the world carve you. Because every cut that comes from outside, every roll forced onto you that doesn't fit, chips away at something you can't get back. This isn't about running away from society. It's not a call to live in a cave. It's a call to notice which parts of you were shaped by choice and which were shaped by pressure. To protect the soft center, the part of you that still wonders, still plays, still doesn't know what it is yet. That uncarved core is where your most honest work comes from. And now let's follow the water down the mountain. Because water is the single best teacher in this whole system. In Romania, there's a river that cuts through limestone. Slowly, quietly, almost nothing year to year. You could watch it for a decade and see no change. But over ages, it hollows out entire cave systems. Vast underground halls, spaces the size of churches, all carved by something soft. And this is where the lesson cuts deep. Because we live in a culture that worships speed. Quick results, instant change. But the deepest changes in your life, the ones that actually last, they work like water. They're slow, they're quiet, and they reshape everything. But here's the limit of the water idea. And this is honest. Sometimes softness isn't enough. Sometimes you need a dam. Sometimes you need a wall. A base that holds firm while the water flows around it. Even the Taoists knew this. The point was never that hardness is wrong. The point is that most of us default to hardness when softness would work better. We reach for the hammer when we need the stream. There's one more piece to this, and it changes how the whole system makes sense. You've seen the symbol, black and white, swirl inside a circle, a dot of dark in the light, a dot of light in the dark, yin and yang. Most people think it means good versus evil, light versus shadow. But that misses the point entirely. Yin and yang aren't at war. They feed each other. The dark fuels the light. The light creates the dark. In nature, this shows up everywhere. In Canada, snowshoe hare numbers rise and fall in a rhythm. When hares are plentiful, lynx thrive and multiply. When lynx multiply, they eat more hares. Hare numbers drop. Then lynx starve. Their numbers fall. Hares recover, and the cycle begins again. Neither side wins, neither side loses. They dance. Economies do the same thing. Boom creates the conditions for bust. Bust clears the ground for the next boom. The cycle isn't a flaw, it's the engine. And this is the final reframe. Balance isn't stillness. Balance is motion. It's a constant living shift. Like riding a bike. You never stop balancing. You just get better at the tiny moves that keep you upright. The moment you try to freeze the system, to lock it into one spot, it topples. So what does this mean for you? Tomorrow morning, when the alarm goes off and the to-do list is already screaming, try something small. Before you charge, pause. Ask yourself one question. Where is the current? What in your day flows easy, and what are you forcing? You don't have to overhaul your life. Just notice. Start there. If this shifted something in the way you see effort and ease, there's a lot more on this channel that goes just as deep. Drop a comment and tell me which part hit you hardest. I genuinely want to know. That river is still carving the canyon. It didn't read a book on how. It didn't set a deadline. It just kept moving where the ground gave way.